Okay, everybody. So here is, as promised, a really quick directory launch checklist. This is a lean launch model, a minimum viable product model, which is really the core ethos and approach that I believe in and try to use myself. So essentially, lean launches are smart launches. Get clear on the absolute minimum you need to publish your directory without adding a whole slew of extra features or making perfection the enemy of achieving anything at all. So I'll just give you a little bit of context. I can't tell you how many people that I've spoken to, probably a bunch of folks watching this right now, who I've talked to over the course of 6 months, 8 months, a year or more, who are still in that perpetually kind of planning phase or perfecting phase. They're trying to pick the perfect plugins, or they want their speed of their directory to be optimized in such a way as it's perfectly positioned for launch. That just doesn't work. I mean, you don't want to spend all of your time majoring in minor things. It is much more important just to launch the thing, get it up and running, and then iterate, improve, optimize, tweak, critique, grow, whatever the right combination of rhyming words here is that I'm missing. You just want to get the thing up and in the world. That should be really the core directive for all of us. All right, so here's a really quick, simple, simple checklist that I use that I think everyone watching this would benefit, at least if you find yourself procrastinating rather than actually producing what it is that you're aiming to do. All right, so first, know how you'll make money. Very specifically, not in a generic kind of, ho hum way. Know exactly how you are going to profit from this project. I call this beginning with the win. I mean, you really want to know what the big back end idea is if you're building one of these kinds of sites. I've said this a million times in the past. I'll say it again now. For me, at least, thinking that featured listings are charging 30 or 50 or $20 a month for some premium listing, thinking that that's going to be enough to sustain something like this in a significant way is a mistake. It's a losing business model unless you have a number of small sites, which you can do certainly using that approach, or you have just one unicorn kind of knocked it out of the park home run project that you've built. And, that is your model. It is much easier to have a big back end that's full of hyper specific, high value, high dollar services that you're offering a small percentage of the folks on your directory than it is selling them, 20 or 30 or $50 a month recurring, charges for a featured or VIP listing. All right, pick the right framework for your project. Don't obsess about this though, right? You're building something on WordPress. You're not spending $500,000 on some kind of customized platform or framework. You can switch themes very quickly and carefully if you pick the right framework, in the beginning. And what I mean by that is My Listing, Listify, Listable, Listing Easy, and a whole bunch of other themes like that, frameworks like that, use the WP Job Manager plugin. They use WooCommerce. All that means is that to some degree or another, mas o menos, they are interchangeable. You can switch out themes at a later date and not really lose core data. You might have to finagle or finesse, moving from one to the other, but you're really not going to suffer too negative of a consequence by switching out, especially on the core plugins like WooCommerce and WP Job Manager. Using something like Listing Pro or Vantage or Templatic or any of those kinds of frameworks is a different experience. You can't switch quite as easily. So picking the right framework without obsessing about it in the beginning is important. All right. identify niche and need in very clear terms. What is the niche? What do they need? This is how you're going to monetize all this and how you're going to build irresistible offers into your platform. I did a video on this yesterday. There's a downloadable form that you can access in the course community area. So look to that for help in this respect. All right, seed the site. Have a seeding the site strategy for your pre-launch. You want to know how you're going to add your initial listings to your community. And, there's only a couple ways of doing this skillfully, one of which is hiring outsourcers and having them just add your initial listings in the pre-launch phase. The other is doing it yourself. There are some kind of maps for importing a CSV file or using a plugin that will pull listings in from external sources. I don't like that approach, so I recommend for the seeding the site for unique content, just add the listings yourself or watch one of the videos that I've done on spinning content to add to your directory during the seed phase. I will actually post that video somewhere in proximity to this video so that folks who haven't seen that can follow exactly how to do that in a step-by-step process. All right, email outreach. This is the beta launch. Once you have the site seeding down in your pre-launch, you just want to do an email outreach campaign. I've provided templates for this, email copy that really converts like crazy. Don't expect that everyone's going to respond to your email. They're not. You want to get a 15 to 20% response rate. And out of that 15 to 20%, a certain percentage of those folks will actually sign up for your directory, and a smaller percentage will sign up for your high back end offers. That is enough to really build something great. And you can look at the math. I think I've shared a little PDF on that as well that kind of demonstrates and illustrates how exactly that works in a in a cash flow positive way. All right, overwhelming offers for early adopters. I call this the irresistible offer. You want to stack the value so high that folks can't resist, right? Just make it impossible for them to say no. There are lots of videos on this that I've done, lots of handouts that I've done on this process. Just create so much value that people just kind of feel foolish in turning you down. All right, map your mountain, have 30, 60, 90-day goals. Really important. Know where you want to be in a month. Know where you want to be in 60 days. Know where you want to be in 3 months. And, of course, map out as far out into the future as is comfortable for you. Don't make a ridiculous moonshot map that is going to make you feel badly if you don't get small incremental gains or improvements in short periods of time, but do have some sort of big, ambitious, audacious, bold plan that kind of gets you up in the morning and says, this is a project that's worth tackling and doing and worth, investing in to change my life. All right, make a manifesto. This is hugely important to me, or make a community USP, right? Like, have something that reflects who you are as a organization, or why people ought to want to be part of your movement. Write something out that says, this is what we're building together. This is who we are. This is what we do. This is why you are welcome here. This is your tribe. Like, create something like that you can put on Facebook, that you can post on your directory, that kind of makes people feel like your community is one they want to join. I will share a link to our manifesto. You can see if you go to facebook.com, The Mindful Market. At The Mindful Market, you'll see, even as recently as yesterday, I posted another version of our manifesto on our community page. All right, have a content marketing strategy that extends beyond just adding listings. So using content curation for blog posts, using a Q&A plugin like anspress.io. That's a great content marketing strategy that really, really works wonderfully well. All right, just adding questions and answers or adding questions and providing answers from a tool like answerthepublic.com. That's a wonderful way of building out one of these sites without having to add listings, right? So you can have a small amount of listings, but you can simultaneously have a large amount of Q&A, and that gives you a content footprint that actually looks appealing when people start peeking at your site. As a matter of fact, you can send people to the Q&A part of your community and ask them to answer questions as part and parcel of their membership on your directory. All right, so that's really it. The last piece is, as always, if you want to talk to me directly, feel free to either visit my blog, which is here. You can email me hi@mindfulmarketplace.com, or stop by my site and just ask a question. I have a live chat there at the bottom, and if I'm online at the time, I'm always happy to talk or engage with anyone who has a question I can answer.